everyone, I'm Colleen with Awaken Catholic, and this is Awaken the Saint. One of the hardest things to do is condemn bad behavior. Well, it's not really necessary to speak out against those little things. When someone does something really bad right in front of us, it can be a shock. Such a shock that we might not even know how to respond. Saint Stanislaus was a man who didn't hesitate when faced with those situations. Stanislaus was born in southern Poland in the year 1030, the only child of a wealthy couple who had been childless up to that point. His parents considered him a gift from God, and when at a young age he showed great virtue and piety, they encouraged him in his faith. Following his education, he was ordained a priest by the Bishop of Krakow. He demonstrated remarkable holiness and wisdom, and over the course of many years, so impressed both laity and clergy that the bishop offered to resign and hand him his position. Stanislaus refused this offer, but when the bishop eventually died in 1072, the people insisted he take up the post. He continued to object to receiving such an important seat, and could only be convinced when Pope Alexander II gave him a direct order. The new bishop fell into his role with great energy, but was soon faced with a difficult challenge. The ruler of Poland at the time, Stanislaus II, was developing a reputation for unrestrained vice, and his position made it hard for those he wronged to speak against him. Stanislaus went unaccompanied and informed Stanislaus in no uncertain terms that his behavior was damaging and it needed to stop. Stanislaus, though a tough nut to crack, eventually gave way and agreed with the bishop. He only behaved himself for a little while, though, before he started returning to his old ways. Stanislaus' failure to reform himself reached its peak in an act of great scandal. The beautiful wife of a nobleman rejected the king's advances, so he abducted her and had her locked in his own palace. This resulted in great outrage, and many demanded that the king be made to answer for his actions. While many high-ranking clergy were too afraid to face the out-of-control Stanislaus was not intimidated in the least. He once again visited the king, condemning his behavior and warning him that this was his last chance to change his ways before the church took formal action. The monarch was not receptive to this warning, so Stanislaus made good on his word and had him excommunicated. Enraged that the bishop had acted against him, Stanislaus levied his authority to have the royal court accuse Stanislaus of treason. The king then commanded his soldiers to execute the bishop, but they refused to lay a hand on the holy man, so Stanislaus took a sword and killed Stanislaus himself. Following this barbaric act, the king found himself growing increasingly unpopular, and he was forced to flee to Hungary, where he eventually died. As much as we might hope that every person can fix their own vices, it's not uncommon that someone who is allowed to get away with doing wrong will continue to do it until they are told otherwise. As scary as it often is when great wrongs are perpetrated, it falls to those who understand why God laid down laws for us to speak out. Saint Stanislaus, pray for us.